Hey everybody, this is Brian with Bear Cards 34. Just doing a quick video today, a little shout out to a set that I loved growing up. This is the 1991 Pro Set Football Complete Set. And to me, as a collector and as someone who loved the game, this year of Pro Set was especially awesome. I really loved the format and the setup. I felt like Pro Set was really catering this to collectors, especially those who like to put cards in binders. And I loved binders growing up. All of my old 90s cards are in binders. And, you know, even now it's fun to kind of go back through them. And it's almost like a scrapbook, right? Where you can kind of just flip through and kind of remember the old days. And so this set right here, which is a very, very large set, well, let me start with this. The one downside to this, just like most things in the 90s, but especially Pro Set, is that it was super overproduced. So these cards are not monetarily worth all that much. However, as far as nostalgia, they're worth a lot to me. I love this set. And I thought they did a great job with the format. So you can see here, they start off with the offensive and defensive rookies of the year. They have the Joe Montana Player of the Year, and these are just awards here. Art Shell for Coach, Singletary was the Man of the Year, and so you would just have these notable accomplishments for the season. Up here you have Barry Sanders as the rushing touchdown leader. Jerry Rice, and it goes down the list right there. Mark Carrier, NFL interception leader. I remember that season. He was great that year. And then up here you've got Derek Thomas, and then you've got some milestones. The Otis Anderson is the 10,000 yard for the career mark. Roger Craig, 500 receptions. Art Monk, 700. You've got Chuck Noll with the milestone of 200 victories. And it just goes on. You got the Marino right there, 7th straight 3,000 yard passing season. It was a different era back then. It was a different, the game was played a bit differently. And then you also had the Hall of Famers right there. So you got Earl Campbell, you got the Chicago Bears Stan Jones, Tex Schramm, John Hanna, Jan Stenerud. And then they had these cards as well. These were some of the college award winners. So the number one pick of the draft, Russell Maryland, Chris Zorich from Notre Dame, a couple Notre Dame guys, Rocket Ishmael. Now this was a nice card to get at the time because he went on to, after winning, the Walter Camp Player of the Year for Ishmael. Amazing season. And I was a big fan of Notre Dame, big fan of his. But he went on to play in the CFL. And so he was not a part of the NFL sets that year, but he was included in this one. So I was always really happy to get that card. And I will mention this too, the artwork here, and you'll see it later on in the set. But they did, the artwork for those was just fantastic. And then right here, these are all of the Heisman Trophy winners from the 80s and then up to the current one. And the Ty Detmer one was kind of an interesting thing because he won the Heisman in 1990, but he went on to play another year of college football after that. So this is obviously before all the NIL and stuff like that. And so there was some talk about, how they were able to get him in a card while he was still in college at the time. You have Andre Ware, Barry Sanders, my guy Tim Brown, Bo Jackson, Rozier, Walker, a lot of really great players. Marcus Allen, of course, and Testaverde. And this is where you can kind of see where they're really being mindful of this going forward from right here. So what I really loved is, and this was very much catered to the binder, 9 cards, so a full page of Super Bowl highlights from James Lofton making a 61-yard catch, all the way to Scott Norwood's notorious wide right. Sorry, Bills fans, especially after the recent playoff loss where there was another wide right, but anyway, it kind of highlights the game, the entire Super Bowl. And on the back here, it has information about each part of that game. And then for the teams, again, they would do this. Now, the first 2 teams have an exception, but this is the Super Bowl champion New York Giants, and they, because they were in the Super Bowl, had 18 cards made. And I used to love this too, that you would have a picture on the back, a different picture, a unique picture, which would show them with their helmets off most of the time so you could get familiar with the players, and then an action shot on front. So the typical design for the set was that each team would have 9 players, or well, actually 8 players and then a coach with the last card. So each page would be a team. And so it was a very nice order. It made it for a really nice set in a binder. Because of the Giants being in the Super Bowl, they got double that. So they had 18 cards. And that also applied to the Buffalo Bills. So they also had 18 cards. So 9 there. And then another 8 players and Coach Marv Levy right there. Marv Levy. And so, yeah, you'll have some of these players like Thurman Thomas. Some great players for those Bills teams. And then here we go on to Atlanta with Deion Sanders, Jerry Glanville. And these, another thing, not only were there 9 cards, but the players were all listed alphabetically. So again, just a lot of order to these cards. We got my guy Mike Ditka right there. And this would be true. And so the cards after the first 2 teams, they were also alphabetical by their city. So Cleveland Brown, you got a Bill Belichick rookie card right there. A young, much younger Bill Belichick. He sure has been around for a while. And that was true. So all the cards, Dallas, Denver, and it would just go on and on. Lions, Wayne Fonts, right there. And then I'll skip ahead a little bit here. Now, Pro Set, and that's part of the reason why they were notorious for printing so many cards, but they had a printing press of their own, and so they were able to make updates. So you'll see right here, the original cards would have had that Tim McKyer right there, and then on the other one, it has a Pro Set Gazette, which was a little newsletter that they had put out, and it has a news that he had signed with the Falcons, and so you have some cards like that had updates as well. They also corrected a lot of error cards when they would catch those as well. All right, and then once you finish up with Washington, they would then have a 1990 replay, and it would do each week. So from week 1 on, they would have these replays, and on the front they'd have a moment from kind of one of the top moments of the week, and then on the back they would talk about other games for the week. So I mean, it gives you a real history of the game and of the season for 1991. The Bo and Barry show right there, and then all the way up until the championship games, and then for the Super Bowl you have those at the beginning. And then another thing ProSet did is they included notable news cards. League modifies in the grasp rule. The detail about all the Plan B free agents that signed. The Whitney Houston one was a popular one as well. The troops watching the Super Bowl. And so these were, and then a big one right there. I've shown that card before, but Bo Jackson, career-ending injury for football. That was such a bummer. And then they even included referees. So there are 2 pages of referees here as well. And I've seen some channels send out TTMs and getting autographs of some of the referees who were still around and signing. And then you had public service announcements where some of the players would encourage collectors, a lot of kids, right, to study, to read, things like that. And then again, we're back to that awesome artwork. So this is the end of Series 1, where these right here, this is the NFC Pro Bowl team. And again, just some great artwork there. Mike Singletary, Lawrence Taylor, the late great Jerome Brown, Reggie White, lots of great players. And then it ended right here after the special teams with the coach of the NFC, so Jimmy Johnson. And then the start of Series 2 was right here. And so the beginning of Series 2 is the AFC players. And again, just love that artwork. And down here at the bottom, Art Shell as the AFC coach. And then we get back into it, and now for Series 2, they just go ahead and start with Atlanta, and they put Buffalo and New York in their spots based on the city name alphabetized. Always love that intense Mike Singletary card right there. Got Montana and Rice in Series 2. And again, I just love the binders. They're nice for cards like these that you could just kind of jump back in again. If you want to talk about just a moment in time in the history of the NFL, this one set alone has so much to say. And again, you can look on the back of the cards. They have full stats for their entire careers, bios, the information, the team, the designs that have the team colors, which I really like as well. And just a real big fan of this. And then again, once the teams were done, you had more NFL news, like this lucky guy, 5 millionth visitor to the Hall of Fame. And then this is when they were really starting to get big on promoting the NFL outside of the United States. So they highlight some of those games. And then a page of these. These are legends. These are players that retired that year. So you got guys like Dan Hampton, Mike Hayes, Ozzie Newsome, a couple Steelers legends right there. Mike Webster, one of the great centers of all time. And then they also had been starting up the World League of American Football, and so they had some of the award winners from that year that were a part of the main set right there. And that's Jason Garrett's brother Judd, played for London Monarchs. And then they did a page of these. These are the Pro Football Hall of Fame photo finalists right here. You got Lawrence Taylor with Parcells. This great action shot right there. Bears Packers. Oh, and poor Jim Harbaugh. Look at him. He is getting bent in half. Another group of PSAs. A couple Bears, Rivera and Singletary. Howie Long, Marino. And then when you go into this, and I love the way they did this as well. This is the rookie class. The majority of them were in their NFL uniforms. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Bruce Pickens may have been injured at the beginning of the year. But these are in order of draft. So round one, pick one right here with Russell Maryland and the late Eric Turner, who was a really great player. Eric Swan, never played college ball. And so that was kind of helpful because it would also let you know, if you weren't familiar already, with the order of where they were picked in the draft. And so some notable rookies like Herman Moore. You've got Alvin Harper. Then you got guys like Mark McGuire's brother, Dan McGuire, who he may still, I know at the time he was the tallest quarterback to ever play in the NFL. But I was thinking he was going to be really good, but he was not. Another guy who was not very good, Stan Thomas, who I disliked immensely because he talked back as a rookie to Mike Ditka, and I did not like that. And so I was never a fan of his, but yeah, it never really turned out for him, unfortunately. And the big one right there, right, Brett Favre, rookie card. For the Falcons, yeah, it's strange to think of him with the Falcons to start off his career, but he was that first season. And Ricky Watters right there is another really good one. This guy, this was crazy. So Shane Curry, he was a top prospect, second-round pick of the Colts. And I remember during his rookie season, he passed away. He got in an argument over a parking spot, and he was shot. It was pretty terrible, really sad. Eric Bieniemy up there, offensive coordinator for the Chiefs and then the Washington this past year. Some other guys as well, and I'm not going to highlight everybody, but right here, Hall of Famer Aneas Williams. Great player. And again, these are just some really good cards. Eric Williams. Jake Reed for the Vikings, who was very good as well. And again, that's what I really miss in a lot of these products, is being able to have a second picture on the back, a picture of the players where you can kind of familiarize yourself. I really liked that with Donruss for a couple of years when they were doing the no helmet variations. I thought that was a pretty great idea. And then you get into Series 3. I will mention this, Christian McCaffrey's dad, Ed McCaffrey. You got his rookie card right there. And then Series 3 started off with a few more headlines, including Shula winning his 300th game. And then you have a couple players like Tom Waddle who really stepped it up but hadn't been included prior. And then players like Tim McKyer, we saw his card, now with Miami. And then here it is, now with Atlanta. And then there he is in a Falcons uniform. So players who switched teams were included in this. New coaches after coaches got fired during the season. Eric Kramer, who really stepped it up that year for the Lions. Terry Allen, who had a couple of really great years. Hall of Famer Chris Carter. One of my all-time favorite punters, Reggie Roby. That guy was awesome. Rest in peace. Jim McMahon on the Eagles. It always hurts to see him on any team other than the Bears, but there you go. And then right there, they made this Mike Utley card as a tribute to him. He had been partially paralyzed. And I wonder if that's the year it happened. I can't remember if that's his tribute card or not, but yeah, so there's Mike Utley. And then right here, you got the 1991 Pro Set Rookie of the Year of Mike Kroll. And these were insert cards, so along with the ones in the set, there were also these insert cards that came in the packs of its own set of World League cards. There's John Elway's dad, Jack Elway. Kerwin Bell, who did really well in that league. And there's Jason Garrett right there, former head coach of the Cowboys. And then at the end, there were also inserts. So these were basically the hits from back in the day. So this right here of Russell, Maryland, this was, not part of the actual set. I think it's numbered card number like 694 or something like that. But this shows right here that he was the first pick of the draft in his Miami uniform. But then in the second series, they actually have him in his Cowboys uniform. And then these inserts like Jim Thorpe, Red Grange, my favorite insert right there, Walter Payton, this great card of Otto Graham, Paul Brown, and then you have the Santa Claus card, which was always a really popular one as well. So you could get these inserts randomly inserted in packs, and then this was just a pack of cards that are in Spanish that I had picked up as well. And then there was another insert, this is the last one basically, which is these Pro Set helmets of the World League. And I will mention, I think I skipped over it, but right up there, that's another card you could get, was the Emmitt Smith Pro Set Gazette. And there we are. So yeah, very big set, but I love it. I love the format. 9 cards per page, per team. Very clean look, very organized by alphabet, by city, alphabet by player. All of the rookies drafted numerically set in the Series 2 in the order they were drafted. So it's just a really fun set. And like I said, it's an overproduced set. There's a lot of it out there. But I really love this set. I thought Pro Set did a great job with it. And I just wanted to kind of share that with you. So anyway, that's my video for today. Hope you're all having a good day. Thanks for watching. And as always, go Bears.